I'm Mark Frexler with the Climatographers. The Climate Web is a climate change decision support tool. And in E.O. Wilson's terms, it's about helping to get the right information to the right person at the right time. And in this video, I'm going to explore that question in the context of climate change business decision making. We're seeing headlines like this almost every day in all kinds of places. And to me, it suggests that if business decision makers had access to the right actionable climate knowledge, it would, in fact, change a lot of business decision making. And I've seen this actually happen in my decades of work in this area with companies. This is from a Fortune 100 briefing where this single slide went up on the screen and it totally changed the nature of the conversation. The company had been thinking about this purely in a corporate social responsibility frame. This slide went up. People said, now we get it. Now we understand why we need to be thinking about this in a business materiality frame. And so the question, I think, is, can the best available thinking from hundreds of business and climate experts be turned into the kind of actionable knowledge that will influence business decision making because it is specific to the needs and circumstances of those decision makers? Now, with that one sentence, you basically understand what we're doing with the Climate Web. I've jumped into the Climate Web to the carbon pricing index entry because it's a topic that everyone is interested in. This index entry goes into more detail below, less detail above in the index entries. There are thousands of these index entries in the Climate Web. You can see over here sources, news stories, videos, knowledge bases, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of information, reports, books, news stories are organized here. But the point of the Climate Web is that we can take this information and do much more with it in terms of helping to provide actionable knowledge. So, for example, I'm going to open up the carbon pricing core library, which is a select number of reports and books that provide a pretty good overview of all the different conversations going on. Most of these documents are actually within the Climate Web and will pop up. And in many cases, you can access graphics and ideas that we've extracted from them. So you can get a pretty good sense of what's in them without having to go through the entire document. So this is one way of organizing information. Another way is to pull up these headings. So the headings include index entries. They include sources, which is books and reports and journal articles, news stories, categories of news stories, categories of extracted graphics, categories of organized information. So you can see the granularity that you can quickly dive into, if you wish, in the carbon pricing topic. Now I'm going to go to another view here for Carbon Pricing 101. Carbon Pricing 101 is a dashboard that uses a mind map view to organize the information that will give you a quick overview of this particular topic and let you dig deeper if you want to dig deeper. There are hundreds of these dashboards. Within the dashboards, you can come over and look at specific videos that we've organized, the news stories that we've collected here that pop up in the notes field. And the same goes for the different reports that we've organized here. So on this one screen, you can basically survey the entire topic. Now, we started out with the carbon pricing index entry. And so I'm going to close out this view of the Climate Web by jumping over to another index entry view. This tag organizes a lot of topics relevant to the business and climate change conversation. Carbon pricing is in here, but it is just one of many that reflect the kinds of topics that a company in a particular sector or working on a particular product or a business advisor would want to be able to track. And all of these you can dig into as we dug into with the topic of carbon pricing. So that gives you just a feel for the scope and depth of the Climate Web. So I've popped back out of the Climate Web after showing you very quickly some of the ways that we are turning what is in effect infinite information into targeted, actionable knowledge. Now, there are lots of things you can do with the actionable knowledge in the climate web. Basically, it's equivalent to having several staff dedicated to the climate web, to the climate change topic. We can deliver question-specific doorways, company-specific doorways that through a unique URL take you to a specific set of information that is what you're looking for. You can download and use the climate web internally and get access to the powerful search tools and visualization tools that come along with downloading it. You can even take the underlying information in the climate web and build your own knowledge management solution organized in the way that you want to see the information organized. We have a materiality dashboard that is intended for senior executives. The climate web is structured with hidden overlays to facilitate materiality assessments, assumptions audits, and to facilitate scenario planning. And you can contact us for more information about any of these ways to use the climate web in your own work. So that wraps up this very quick overview of the climate web. This quote, we think, is a great quote summarizing what the climate web is trying to do in terms of being like having 100 leading experts in all of these different fields at the decision-making table. And that really is the idea of getting the right information to the right person at the right time. Thanks.